World theme, bringing us into the blessing, our favorite section. Josh, what are you thinking?
I don't know if this has ever happened to me before, man. I have this long list. Not long, but I have a list here of notes saying things like it kind of feels like you're just on a conveyor belt from boss battle to boss battle. The overworld and sewer areas are pointless, tedium. Like where the only like mental engaging thing is just like avoiding the weapon power downs after I've turbo eviscerated an enemy. Like the biggest difficulty is aligning Fester's sprite in a way where his gunfire isn't impeded by bushes, walls, benches, whatever. Like it's next to nothing to do with the enemy presenting difficulty themselves. That the only way to make this game interesting would be to play Sans Turbo, which I don't know if that would make it like it. I was thinking it wouldn't make it harder necessarily. It would just be more exhausting. You know what I mean? And sitting here and talking about it for 3 hours with you, like I think I'm wrong. I think the way I played it is wrong. You know what I mean? Like I think I did it wrong. There were so many the boss battles were all interesting and engaging for the most part. Again, like the only reason I was able to do the things I did where I didn't have to solve a puzzle were because I was playing it with the turbo thing, and like, yes, it tells you to do that in the manual, but like, I don't know, man. That's the thing. Like my only thinking about it more gripe is that, and I don't know, I don't have a solution for it, is like what is that middle ground that I'm saying it needs in order to, like, I don't know where that is. I don't know if it exists between playing it on turbo and just eviscerating things or playing it without turbo and it being fucking impossible, and like, I mean, you got to, it was like almost the fourth boss, right? Before you switched over.
I got to the fifth. I was to the point where I was going towards the fifth boss.
Okay, so beating the fourth one then.
Yeah.
Without turbo. So yeah, I mean, and T-Rex is not that hard, and nor is the mother brain. I mean, harder clearly without turbo, but I mean, you didn't even do the cheese thing that I did to beat either one of those. I don't think so. Yeah, I think I just did wrong, and I think I owe it. I think as much as there is, like, it is frustrating. Like that was the goal. Like that was like you said, the commercial. Like that's what it was supposed to be. They knew it was that. And like, you could say that it's lazy to know that it's apocalyptically difficult at times and just do it anyways, and to not try to balance that out or take the time or make the effort or whatever. But I don't know, man. Like, I think I walked into this. You heard the top of the episode. Like, this was no before this conversation, and I think if only not spite, but like if only just like in response to my own failure to try to engage it the way it needs to and probably supposed to be engaged. I owe it that, because there was enough in there, even despite all my bitching, that I had good to say about it, that I think I have to flip my script and say yes. Which I could not have anticipated less going into this recording.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, man. I think I'm surprised to hear that, but I think you're right. I think there's some nuances that you just miss, like because of my experiences with the gun and realizing how much easier it was to use a whip, to not have to do so much button jamming. I countered these issues where, like, the big jumping, like, flea aliens, they don't fear the whip. Like, it doesn't push them back, so they would still hit me. And so I was like, oh, so like I had no choice but to switch back to the gun. But if my gun was like lower powered, because that's when I was like, it just, you know what I mean? Like, so you experience these like things where it's like, oh, this is so tough right here. And you're just like, you're just like nuking through it.
The economies of the game are completely flatlined by the turbo thing for sure. Yeah, and that's the new that nuance is exactly what I was saying was lacking. So I can't. It would be so hypocritical to make that the reason to not tell someone to play it, knowing that that's why it was that way. So yeah.
Wow.
Weird.
All right.
So that is a yes then? How do you as well?
Well, I think yes. Long story short, yes. It is a tough game. I had to grind. Like I felt like knowing my knowledge of video games now and realizing, oh wow, I get to power up guns. Like, yeah, I want to grind and get like all the gun if I can do that here, because it won't fit. My other guns won't fit in the sewers, and blah blah blah. Having that different experience to where I get a completely different weapon and how it changes things, and then I was actually having fun. Probably from the second boss through the fourth, when I was just tearing through things because I was feeling so OP, and I was like, yeah, this is great. I'm succeeding going through. And the minute like hardships came and I was like, daggone it, I'm depowered a bit, then the whole thing changed and it was like much tougher for me to double back and get the health, to maintain. Like it was just, everything was a struggle, to where I was like, all right, I'm starting over. Like I continued, I got to start over and like get those weapons up to snuff and keep them. Because if I drop again, like it's so much harder to like keep these guys down. And I still had to like whip like the jumping pink frogs like a couple times. So if there's multiple, it's tough. So yeah, I had to really think about how I wanted to approach things, which gun I wanted to use, if I was going to be using missiles, like all the boss battles were engaging. So it was freaking tough. Obviously the music is great, the score is good.
Yeah, the music is
fantastic.
There's nostalgia. Graphics are fantastic. The cutscenes are fucking phenomenal. Yeah, I mean.
So that's a yes. Knowing, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, listen to this. So I didn't say that because I changed my tune. Like the closing little thing that I wrote down here was, just as every Lorik disciple remarked in the Facebook page post throughout my play, the only reason to play this game is for self-punishment or novelty. It is not an enjoyable experience in any real way outside of that awesome theme song. Like that's what I wrote down, and I got to a place where I said yes instead in this conversation. That's kind of crazy. If only the U.S. political landscape could be such good listeners.
Right. Like, are you saying your thinking has evolved on this?
Are you saying that you listened to the people around you and changed your mind about the way you felt hardcore about something inside of you? Yeah. If only.
Nice.
Maybe an initiative that we could start, Jay, is to maybe like the way they airdrop supplies onto third world countries, just airdrop copies of Fester's Quest onto the U.S. coast to coast, and it could just make everything better.
We got to include our commentary. Like, remember, in case you experience it this way, think about it this way. Like,
exactly right. Yeah, see both sides of the coin. Man, is there a more, like, have we, we've given a lot of games, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out included, glowing double yeses. Is there a more glowing King Lorik endorsement than that? We said it could rectify the ultra divided U.S. fucking political landscape. That's like fucking, yeah.
Thank you, Adam's family.
Yeah, thank you, Sunsoft. We should get their fucking whoever is the lead. We don't know because it's not in the credits. Probably maybe the biggest gripe now after the fact. If we only knew who the fuck that was, which maybe we could look it up. Let that person know that like your game holds the key to harmony, to world peace and fucking and political harmony in the United States. Okay, well that's fucking Fester's Quest. Didn't see that coming.